Welcome back, True Seeker. Another mind-blowing fact about the Charlie Kirk assassination. By now, most people have heard about Snake Eyes and the assassination of Charles Kirkland in the film, a man sitting next to a character modeled after Donald Trump. You've probably heard about that. People have gone and done even more homework, and they've looked into the VHS. For you younger people who weren't around, once upon a time, you couldn't stream movies online. You had to go to the video store and rent it. And at the time Snake Eyes came out, a lot of people still had VHS, which was a tape, like a big cassette tape. And if you rented it at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or your local neighborhood store, you'd get the VHS. You'd pop it in your VHS player, and before the movie began, you'd get a bunch of trailers, 2 to 3 minute clips of the other upcoming films from the studio. And you will not believe what is on the Snake Eyes VHS. The movie Dead Man on Campus, but not just that. The other thing that's on there is South Park, the movie, and the trailer is Eric Cartman. And remember, Eric Cartman just portrayed Charlie Kirk on the August 6th, 2025 episode of South Park. And don't forget, the day of the Charlie Kirk shooting, you had a shooting in Colorado at Evergreen High School, which is where Trey Parker went to high school. He graduated from that high school in 88. Trey Parker's the co-creator of South Park. He graduated from that high school in 88, the same year that Charlie Kirk's wife was born. And you've probably also heard now about the Emerson Drive country music video from 2012, starring Erica Kirk before she was married to Charlie Kirk, where she gets married in the music video to a man named Tyler, like how in Snake Eyes, the assassination's around a boxing match with the favored boxer, Tyler, the Atlantic City executioner, when, of course, Trump's the Atlantic City casino fight hosting guy. And don't forget who told you as soon as the Charlie Kirk news broke, it was all about Trump, and it was all synced up with Trump, and it was a ritual planned long in advance, as I explained right out of the gate, long before these facts were uncovered about Snake Eyes and now Dead Man on Campus, and again, the Emerson Drive music video. But this is exactly what, yours truly and others have been exposing for a long time. Again, I've been here every single day for 12 years. I've written 2 books about this stuff. It makes me sad that more people don't want to learn about what we teach, though, because you see almost the whole, half-truther community, they seem to shy away from this information, which really spells it out. Because that's the one thing you see about other channels, right? They can never connect the dots to who's doing this. They say, oh, isn't this interesting? And, oh, isn't this weird? And that's kind of where you're left. Isn't this interesting? Isn't that weird? Again, this work shows you who is doing it. Just like how from the first second the news broke, I showed you it was all synced with the superior general, just like the news is every single day. And who else would it be synced with? Again, this calendar that says I'm doing this broadcast on September 27th, 2025, the only reason we have this date is because of the Jesuit order, the military order of the Catholic Church. Again, it was the Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius who's responsible for instituting the calendar, and it's all synced up with the Pope and the Black Pope. The Black Pope is the superior general, the leader of the Jesuits. But yeah, let's look at Dead Man on Campus. And you guys, when you're done with this video, just watch the opening of the Dead Man on Campus trailer. Maybe I'll even see if I can get away with playing it. We'll watch it on silent with just closed captioning. I just want you to see the visuals at the beginning and the words on the screen. I think you'll be able to put 2 and 2 together. And then, yeah, we'll look a little bit at the footage that's on the trailer for these films. Again, having the South Park movie along with this Dead Man on Campus. So, okay, Dead Man on Campus. Again, it's on the Snake Eyes VHS, the trailer for it, and on the Dead Man on Campus VHS, the Snake Eyes trailer's on there, and it makes sense. They come from the same studio. But look at what day Dead Man on Campus released, August 21st. Now, remember what I told you as soon as the Charlie Kirk news broke. I said, this points back to the Holy Roman Empire, again, which is what runs this nation. That's why there's Roman architecture all over the nation's capital. And what is the turning point that Charlie Kirk wants? He wants to turn us back to the Stone Ages. He wants to see, the merger of religion and state. That's what Charlie Kirk wants, which is exactly what this nation wasn't supposed to be. Again, religion and state is what was going on in Europe, which is why people fled across the Atlantic, and it led to this nation, which was meant to separate the two. You see, right now, there's a major push from all the people that are, hoodwinked by this psychological operation that, oh, maybe this is what we need. America's out of control right now. People don't even know what gender is. We're shooting people that just want to have debates at college campuses. We need God back in our lives. Again, understand the people at the top that are doing this, they don't have anything nice intentioned for us. All they want is greater control over society. They want a less thinking society. They want a more believing society, a more subservient society that just bends right over for authority at the snap of fingers. And you saw that in the last major Jesuit operation. And if you guys haven't read my last book, Number Games, I mean, we were on it from day one. Who was behind the whole Cooties 19 push? It was all Jesuits. Every last one of them was a Jesuit. Anthony Fauci, Cuomo, Trump, Newsom, Redfield, right on down the line. Every face you saw during Cooties 19, all Jesuit-educated men. Look at Turning Point USA. Almost the whole staff is Catholic, you guys. Almost all of it is Catholic. But yes, Dead Man on Campus came out on the 21st of August, a date written 21/8 in the majority of the world. And again, Turning Point USA and Holy Roman Empire 218. Don't forget the Holy Roman Empire supposedly ended in history on August 6th, the 218th day of the year. Do you remember what day the South Park episode just came out? Did it not just come out on August 6th? Did it not just come out on August 6th, the Charlie Kirk South Park episode? Yeah, it came out on the 218th day of the year, too. It sure did. It sure did. And do you remember what time Trump's presidential alert goes out at? Goes out at 2:18, and Trump has the 2:18 connection, and Death has the 2:18 connection. As I speak, we are on September 27th. Today's the day in history that the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. It was this day in the year 1540. Today leaves 95 days left in the year. Their original mission was to stop Martin Luther and the 95 Theses. Look at what day Martin Luther died. He died less than 6 years later on 2/18. And once upon a time when I lived in the Seattle area, I used to get a lot of weird mail in my physical mailbox. And one of them was a death threat saying that I will die on 2/18. They didn't specify the year, but they said, you will die on 2/18. And at the time, I didn't know this cipher. I just knew the very simple ciphers at the time. It was in the early days of my research. But eventually, when I learned this cipher, this English cipher that pays tribute to the Hebrew values and the Greek isopsephy values, I said, well, look at that. Death equals 2/18. No wonder somebody put that in my mailbox for that little threat. And how ironic, since I was raised Lutheran. But yeah, Martin Luther, the Martin Luther, did die on 2/18. And like I said, again, the Holy Roman Empire supposedly ended in history on August 6th, 1806. And you know what's weird is August 5th this year would have been 218 years and 364 days since it ended. The very next day, the day the Charlie Kirk episode came out, it was the day it ticked to 219. But yeah, I think you're following here the point I'm laying down. And as for Dead Man on Campus, the name of this film that came out on 21/8, well, Dead Man on Campus, 144 and 54, like Jesuit order. And, I guess the one thing that really frustrates me is how much awesome work has been done. And again, thanks to all the mass deletions and the censorship, very little recognition. I mean, on my channel that's still barely hanging in there, GematriaEffectNews 22, the video is up from December 29, 2022, the day Netanyahu came back into power. And I explained that day why a major war would begin in Israel while the country was 75 years old, right around the time Yale turned 322 years old, which happened October 9th. 2023. And the war began on October 7th, 2023, 2 days earlier. Again, that was all laid out why that was going to happen. Not to mention, we've been saying years in advance why it would matter so much while Israel was 75. It all goes back to a New York Times headline from October 6, 1940. And don't forget that Netanyahu came back into power on Albert Pike's birthday, the man who wrote the letter about 3 world wars to come, where the third would be centered on political Zionism. And that letter was published on the Jesuit order's birthday, the day they were created in Paris, France, August 15th, 1871. Again, the Jesuits were created August 15th, 1534 in Paris. And they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on this day, September 27th, 1540. But these two numbers up here, 144 and 54, they are everywhere with the Jesuit shenanigans all throughout history. And don't forget the day RFK filed his paperwork to run for president. It was the 5th day of the 4th month, 144 days after the Superior General's birthday. I said that day. This foreshadows assassination stories to come with this election cycle, which will end on remember the 5th of November, the day in history the Jesuits tried to assassinate King James. Again, you would think, based on, and not to mention we've had a million correct predictions since way before even any of that happened, you would think when it came to anyone looking into what is going on in the world, you think this would be the first stop that they would come to. Again, nobody has a more credible record, and nobody has put out more concrete information to prove what's going on. And again, I'm talking about the Holy Roman Empire and Turning Point USA, and who's really running the show. The world is a stage. Who controls the theater, the political theater? Who gives the storylines to program the minds of the masses for what's coming next? Again, this is who's doing it. And yes, they do control the Hollywood studios, which are full of predictive programming. And yeah, And just to make a point, I found a channel today that I like. It's a religious guy. I don't like all this religious crap, but he's a guy who sees how this has the Holy Roman Empire written all over it. What's going on with Charlie Kirk? But then I watch the guy's videos, and he gets to this thing talking about the conspiracy theories that are out there, and he kind of says like, the Snake Eyes thing, like I think it's kind of out there. I don't really know about that. But then he talks about a conspiracy theory that I hadn't even heard of, that Charlie Kirk, what got shot was just a hologram, and he thought that was more plausible. And I was just like, what? This guy's downplaying predictive programming in movies, and what becomes the news, and the guy has like nearly 500,000 subs, and I'm thinking, how does a guy like this have 500,000 subs if he has this kind of brain? Again, there were things I liked about him, but I mean, seriously, like that's not discernment. Downplaying predictive programming and entertaining the idea that Charlie Kirk, the thing that shot, was a hologram. I mean, come on. Okay. It doesn't seem real. But this trailer right here. So this is you guys can look this up on YouTube too. Regular Badger 2001 opening to Dead Man on Campus, US VHS. Do you guys see how this is right here? Cartman's up on the screen at 105 into this thing. We just talked about this the other day. The Evergreen School where the shooting happened after Charlie Kirk, where again Trey Parker, the South Park co-creator, went, is on the 105th meridian. But look how Charlie Kirk and Eric Cartman overlap in the base ciphers of the English language. Again, if you don't know what gematria is, it's the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. It's super simple. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. The reverse alphabetic order, and it's both orders of numerology applied. You can see how Charlie Kirk and Eric Cartman have triple overlap. And there's a million things to all of those numbers up there in this ritual, which I've gone over in the past couple of weeks. But yeah, even in the trailer, at the 105 mark in the trailer, here's Eric Cartman sitting up here, right? So again, all of these things are on the trailer. The first thing, and by the way, I would encourage you guys to watch this, because what it's talking about is how state-of-the-art technology is becoming. And you just think about it, because here we are in this age where this happens with Charlie Kirk, where AI is now, and how it's really hard to discern between what's real and what's fake with AI. And remember, you guys, YouTube just took down my video on Charlie Kirk, the first one I did that got a ton of views for hate speech. And then it said in the print that it was hate speech because it questioned a well-documented mainstream story. And I didn't even really do that much questioning. I just showed how it was a ritual all synced up with Trump. But I mean, this is an age where everything deserves to be questioned. Anyway, I'm telling you, take the time to watch this trailer. The buildup to, technology, and technology is getting so advanced. And as you listen to it, you'll be like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Again. So anyway, after the South Park thing, it does go into Night at the Roxbury, the Will Ferrell movie. And I don't know if there's a connection here. Does anyone want to look into Night at the Roxbury? I don't like Will Ferrell, but I remember thinking that movie was a little bit funny. And then after Night at the Roxbury, look at what's next. Snake Eyes. These are the trailers on Dead Man on Campus. And again, on Snake Eyes, again, you have the trailer for Dead Man on Campus. So it's a two-way street here. Yeah, if you haven't seen Dead Man or Snake Eyes, you better watch it. And again, at the beginning, you have Hurricane Jezebel and then the woman in red. Remember, part of the story right now is Jezebel, the website, paid Etsy witches to hex Charlie Kirk on the Virgin Mary's birthday 2 days before the killing. Remember, that's the 251st day of the year, which is the 54th prime, like Jesuit order. Like this movie came out 54 days after Trump's birthday, who's Jesuit educated, who went to Fordham. And again, this casino that the fight's going on where the assassination happens, again, the character that's sitting next to the man who gets assassinated, who runs the casino, is supposed to be Donald Trump. So, yeah, just so many little things here when it comes to murder. Again, Stan Shaw, the boxer, who's Tyler Lincoln or Tyler the Executioner. He's from Chicago, like Charlie Kirk. A reminder that Trump got 312 electoral college votes, and then the Pope died on the 312th day of Trump's age. And then we get the first American Pope who's from Chicago, the 312 area code. Charlie Kirk's Bears win with 31 the day of his memorial in State Farm, where the Cardinals play, who are also originally from Chicago. On and on and on. But yeah, maybe look into all the movies that are on this trailer, because there are some other ones on here. But man, Dead Man on Campus, I mean, just unreal. So double tap. Some people are thinking that the neck wound looks definitely a lot smaller than a 30-06. I see that one of the trailers on here is double tap. So yeah, literally all of these, it looks like the Addams family's in here. Is that Major League? Oh no, Major League with Charlie Sheen is on here. Come on, man. Come on, like Charlie Sheen was on the Joe Rogan podcast. These are all the things on the VHS trailer before the movie starts. Oh, man. Jokes for days. Jokes for days. But yeah, also, let me see. Is this the right one? Let me see if I can. Okay. This is, oh, snap. That's the wrong thing. Here's the right one up here. Okay. I'm not going to play the sound. Let's just look at the screen here and look at the visuals and the words on the screen that begin for the actual trailer for Dead Man on Campus. So a burning building. Okay. Then a bunch of police at a time when the voices of tolerance and reason cry out for patience and understanding, and in the spirit of a world united by the power of love. And then it cuts to the jokes. But just those visuals right there, I mean, it all fits in with, if you've been following this Charlie Kirk thing, a lot of the people on the right are saying, listen, when the left's guy George Floyd got killed, they burned down buildings. You don't see any of us burning down buildings over Charlie Kirk. It's like, I hate listening to people make these comparisons. You guys, what happens in the world is all being orchestrated and carried out. If the cabal wanted to pay people to go burn down buildings in the name of Charlie Kirk, it would happen too. This is what's wrong with society, that they don't know the game that's being played with humanity, and they keep marching along to the narratives and saying, see, we're better. We didn't burn down buildings. We're the right wing. Again, you're allowing yourself to become part of these agendas and get played for a fool by the Jesuit order. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But yeah, I mean, this is just, yeah. And seeing the major leagues on there just got me going, oh my God. But don't forget, Charlie Kirk, big Chicago Cubs fan. The same day that he got shot, Anthony Rizzo retired from the Cubs 44 days before the World Series begins. Anthony Rizzo went to Parkland, where the shooting happened in Florida, or Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. And remember, that happened on Valentine's Day, 21/4, like Parkland Hospitals, where JFK died, in the 214 area code. The Pope died on the other 21/4 day, and the acting head of the Vatican became the Cardinal from Dallas, the 214. So, and then again, Pope dies on the 312th day of Trump's age. We get the first American Pope from the 312, who's also the 267th Pope, and he went to school at Villanova, just outside Philadelphia, the 267 area code. And don't forget who told you before they picked the Pope, I said he's going to have something to do with Philadelphia, the 267 area code. And sure enough. And just for those of you guys who don't know, when the Cubs broke the 108-year drought, remember, Major League equals 108. There's 108 double stitches on a baseball. They beat the Indians, who were in the film Major League, and they hadn't been in the World Series since 45. Major League's 45, like Wrigley, like Cubs. And, that was the 112th World Series that ended on November 2nd. By the way, Chicago's 143, and that's the 108th composite number, just for the record. Tallest building there. Sears Tower, 108 stories tall. But yeah, go figure that Major League is on there as well, in light of Joe Rogan interviewing Charlie Sheen about Platoon, which was Vietnam, which was about a civil war. Man. Unbelievable. So, also, just the value of this knowledge, you guys. Congrats to the winners. If you had Oregon to beat Penn State tonight in the upset, and you had Alabama to upset Georgia, you definitely know Gematria. You're probably on my Patreon. Again, for years, I've taught you guys about Alabama in 31. Still remember when Derrick Henry won the Heisman and Alabama won the championship 31 days later. Again, you guys, you see how both teams became 3-1 tonight with Alabama upsetting Georgia? Remember the other year when there were 13 bomb scares called into Alabama universities? That was a few years back now, but Alabama likes 31 and 13. Who remembers when Tua came in at halftime to replace Jalen Hurts in the championship down 0-13, only to come back and win it, and to win it on a 41-yard touchdown pass from number 13 to number 6 to get Nick Saban his 6th championship, when 41's the 13th prime and 13's the 6th prime. Nick Saban got his 6th championship at age 66, and then next year Bill Belichick got his 6th championship at age 66 in the same stadium, and they used to coach the Cleveland Browns together. But yeah, also Oregon upsetting tonight. The score was 3-3 at halftime, and Penn State fell to 3-3 versus Oregon all time. And again, if you're on Patreon, put out the notes for the game. Conclusion: Oregon was Charlie Kirk's favorite team. Remember last week they put in Mariota, the Oregon quarterback, for the Davis Memorial, and they had the upset of the Raiders. And if they upset Penn State, their coach will get his 58th loss. Remember how big 58 was in Charlie Kirk's death. Ducks has that 58 connection, like TPUSA, like Freemasonry, like Charlie Kirk's father helped build the 58-story Trump Tower. But yeah, so Penn State's coach did get his 58th loss tonight. And the other thing was, that was his 58th loss, including bowl games. He also got his 51st regular season loss tonight, the coach of Penn State. Oregon Ducks 51. Again, you got to know your ciphers. So, yeah, well, that was the top clue there. And then Alabama, Georgia. Conclusion: Alabama looks like they can upset, making both teams 3-1. If that happens, Georgia will get their 45th loss and 18th home loss in the series. 45 and 18 break down to 9. That was today's date numerology. And I did make the point, too, that if Oregon upset, Oregon's the 33rd state. Again, Penn State would fall to 3-3, and that was the score at halftime, 3-3. So, obviously, a lot more scoring in the second half. Went to overtime. 54 points on that game, huh? And do you remember back in Trump's first term in office, he deployed his federal police for the first time on a state to Oregon, the 33rd state, like federal's 33, like police is 33. I heard Trump deployed the federal police on Portland again today, the day of this big game. Trump went to school in Pennsylvania as well. Trump deploys federal police to Portland. Let me see. Is this in the news? Yeah, Portland's my hometown. RIP City, RIP City. And it has been RIP City ever since the rioting started on 33rd Street after the George Floyd debacle. Just like how they started the race war with Rodney King after the beating on 3-3. And then this year, Trump deployed the National Guard to California for the first time in 33 years. And he did on 6/7, June 7th, like King 67. Then he just synced up that number with deploying them to Memphis, where MLK was killed. MLK, who had his last speaking event the night before in the Masonic Temple in Memphis. But yeah, LAPD 33, police 33, federal 33. Remember how earlier this year when Trump deployed the National Guard to California, there were Mexican flags everywhere. Mexico's 33, Mexicans 33. The Mexican-American War ended on the 33rd day of the year. I believe that was February. I know it was February 2nd. Was it the year 1841? I think it was 1841. But remember what also happened 33 years ago, besides the Rodney King riots? 1992 is when NAFTA passed. Congress passed NAFTA, and Byron Dorgan was the most outspoken opponent of NAFTA. You guys should all go back and listen to what Byron Dorgan said back in 1992 when NAFTA passed. And please don't be the next person to go, no, NAFTA passed when Clinton was on office. No, it didn't. It passed in 1992, 33 years ago, by your federal government for their perfect psyop this year. But you're right. It wasn't signed into law until Bill Clinton was in office, another 33. But yes, it was passed in 92, and you can go back and listen to what Byron Dorgan said in 92. He said, by passing this bill, we will surely destroy Mexican agriculture, and these people will be forced to migrate here to find a way to feed themselves. And for all you guys who say it's all the left, remember Byron Dorgan was on the left, and he seemed to see exactly what was going to happen so perfectly, and he seemed to oppose the idea of NAFTA because it was a trade deal that only really benefited mega corporations, not really anybody else. And that's what we have in America, a government that serves the very wealthy, and all of us just put up with the aftermath of everything else, and then we squabble over the consequences of these decisions. Again, if you destroy your neighbor's way of life, listen, just instead of thinking of government as like this big thing, think about it as your neighborhood. If we're going to make a decision here that's going to destroy our neighbor right next door, is there a chance that we deserve the consequences that come from it if we purposefully destroyed our neighbor with a tactical decision like NAFTA? I mean, I don't know how the answer to that isn't. Yes. Actions breed consequences. And again, the way the cabal works is that they make everything a perfect ritual. That's why they had to do all that this year. And just for the record, National Guard's also 137, which is the 33rd prime. There was a lot more too. You can go back and see my work. I remember one of the videos I put up on that YouTube muted so nobody could hear it. But yeah, anyway, congrats to the winners. You know, another day of taking advantage of some nice rigged ball games. Two big underdogs coming through. Boom, boom, boom. And it was a decent, I had my worst week of college football, to be fair, this week, but it was still a winning week. It's just the other weeks I'd been damn near perfect. There were a few games that surprised me today, but these ones I liked a lot. I liked both of these upsets a lot because I love Alabama in 31, and the Ducks thing had the double connection, and just Charlie Kirk's team, 54 points. Prove me wrong. Oh, man. You know, it's funny. I saw a hater was talking about me today and just telling nothing but lies out there. And I thought, God, why are there so many people that believe all these lies about me? He was telling this story about a car never crashed through my house and there's no visual proof. And it's like, dude, everybody and their mom made a video when the car crashed through my house trying to analyze why it was a hoax when it wasn't. For people don't know, back when I was 33, I had a car crash through 2 walls of my house on Christmas Eve. And then I had to fight with my insurance company for 5 months to even get them pay for a fraction of it. But then he was saying that I begged for $33,000 for people to help repair. I never asked for 1 cent from anybody to help repair it. I paid for that myself, and I didn't raise any money back then for anything. Um, but yeah, it's just crazy listening to weirdos tell false stories about me. And yeah, it's just no. What I've demonstrated here is perseverance. I've had to put up with shit like that, having my house raided, having the FBI come out here multiple times, putting up with all this censorship every day, not getting any reasonable views for how awesome this information is, but continuing to put out the good work anyway. Uh, Anyone ragging on me is a complete moron. And also, that person is a religious lunatic who every year does an annual prediction that Seattle's going to blow up. And don't count on it, buddy. Not unless Mount Rainier blows. Um, yeah. Anyway, yeah. This is the latest. This is the latest. Dead man on campus. And yeah, if you're not up on the Emerson Drive country music video, where Erica Kirk, before she was married to Charlie Kirk, goes ziplining through the town past the numbers 910, like the date her supposed husband was shot. Remember, and like I said, it was a big 44 ritual, his execution, shooting, killed, execution, all 44, killed on the date we circled back in January, because we circle all the kill dates for the year at the start of the year. But also, his death came 4 years and 4 months after their marriage. Erica equals 44. But yeah, Emerson Drive, just like Turning Point, got the Masonic Jesuit numbers in the name. She's my kind of crazy, 86, like he got 86. She gets married to Tyler in the video. The song came out right after Turning Point was founded, 34 days later. Again, 3-minute and 22-second song. I covered all this earlier if you missed it, but again, it's got the Jesuit fingerprints all over it. And it also came out 33 weeks in a day, the song, after Erica Kirk's birthday. Now, something I need to look into, apparently Erica Kirk has some relationship, and don't forget, she won the Miss Arizona at Trump's pageant in 2012 on her birthday, apparently, and she'd never been in a pageant before. Again, it just goes to show how chosen it is. You know, realizing that, you guys remember when I was out in Buffalo and I met that girl, Tara, and she tried to kind of befriend our community? I realized that she was a beauty pageant person and she was in Trump beauty pageants and she goes around with the mega hat and stuff. I'm starting to wonder how many women out there, obviously she's not on as high of a tier as Erica Kirk, but I'm starting to wonder how many of these beauty pageant girls might be out there that have been employed essentially by Donald Trump for Team Mega. Anyway, that's just another thought I had on my mind. Yeah, because like several times that girl was like trying to get me to meet up with her, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. And yeah, I'm starting to think Trump's got some lady assassins out there. But anyway, anyway. Yeah, again, this was her post about that music video. What a blast Tyler and I had shooting this video with you guys. We are so grateful to have been a part of this incredible video. She was shooting with Tyler, you guys. Tyler the Executioner, Tyler Robinson. Make America Great Again, you guys. You guys realize that Make America Great's like make America into something totally different than what it was ever intended to be? Police surveillance state, billionaires all behind Trump, Larry Ellison outspoken about this great AI when he didn't say all the same things behind Trump that he said a few months earlier at the Oracle press conference. Don't forget how he became, if you guys missed it, you know when he became the richest man recently? You see how Larry is 74 and Larry Ellison is 74? He became the richest man 74 days after Elon Musk's birthday, and Elon Musk is 54 right now, like Oracle equals 54. The head of Oracle became the richest man 74 days after Musk's 54th birthday. But yeah, if you don't know what Larry Ellison said last September 2024, go back and watch his remarks about his utopia that he envisions, where everybody has a camera on them at all times, and the AI monitors all things at all times so that everybody's on their best behavior. Yeah. Again, this is what Make America Great Again is. Police surveillance state, military on the streets of America, Charlie Kirk's vision of no one's educated and everyone's religious. Yeah. Woo, sounds great to me. Where can I sign up? Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And what's sad is people do want to be a part of that, and it shows you just how bad it is right now. So All right. Anyway, I got to wrap it up, you guys. Yeah, it's just, it really is unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Watching this perfectly planned out script. Hurricane Umberto. Now that's what we need next is some crazy hurricane, because that's what's going on in the also in the Snake Eyes movie. There's a hurricane going on. It's Hurricane Jezebel, and it destroys part of Trump's casino. It's not Trump in the movie. His name's Powell, but he's supposed to be Donald Trump if you look up the IMDb. Hurricane Umberto strengthened into a rare Category 5, but there's another storm. Are we going to get a Category 5 storm by next week for NFL Week 5? Is that going to set up another storyline for the NFL? Last week was all about Charlie Kirk. Everybody and their mom winning with 31-point games. But, yeah, maybe a Category 5 for NFL Week 5. That's not tomorrow. That's the following Sunday, October 5th. Don't forget that Snake Eyes movie came out 105 days before Erica Kirk's birthday. And now that I think about it, Week 5 is going to be on October 5th, 10/5. That South Park episode came out 5 weeks before the shooting on the nose. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Shout out to VS with the big 2. Thank you, VS. Shout out to Sage Zero. Erica was filming with Tyler Robert mates in the video. Reminds me of Norman Bates. Tyler Robert mates. Okay, Robert, one of those big 33 names. John says, hey, Zach, there just was a shooting in Southport, North Carolina on a boat. 3 dead, 8 injured being reported. 3 dead, 8 injured, huh? Death, murder, killing, RIP 38. That reminds me, too. A story. Sorry, I've been so busy late, you guys. A story that I wanted to cover is when supposedly the U.S. federal government blew up a Venezuelan drug trafficking boat. You guys, that is not the American way. That's a new level of drug war using the military, and a lot of people cheered that on. And I mean, the reality is too, just how people will cheer stuff on. Who's to say yours truly someday doesn't actually take a weekend off? Again, if you guys don't know me, I've been grinding every day for over 12 years. And you would think that all the hard work I've put on and all the people we've influenced, and you think that there'd be more of a payoff for how much effort I put in. But who's to say that, someday a person like me is not having a nice vacation for once. I'm out on the boat, and my boat blows up, and they report on the news that it was a Venezuelan cargo ship. We're like, yeah, killed those. It's like, that's not even what happened. They just blew up somebody else and report whatever the hell they want to report to you. And nobody questions anything. But no, the stuff people are cheering on right now is insane. Ryler05 says, but don't forget about Elvis, Zach. Yeah, don't forget Elvis, you guys. Oh God, what was the name of the girl that Elvis was with when she died? Hold on. Who was the girl Elvis was with when he died? I always forget her name. Ginger Alden, is that it? Yeah, it is Ginger Alden. So you see how her name equals 201, and the country was 201 years old when he died? Ginger Alden. Now, a lot of those numbers up there matter, but again, the Jesuit Order, 201. Order of Illuminati. It's the year Tom Brady was born, 1977. Married to Giselle, born on the 201st day of the year. His last Super Bowl, 201 passing yards. ESPN made the big article when he got his 201st career win, the road to 201, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, Ginger Alden. Yeah, obviously Elvis weddings in Vegas. I did see in the music video, She's My Kind of Crazy, that she gets married to Tyler and Elvis does the ceremony at the end. There's probably something more to that. Nick, he says, we killed it in the Patreon. I believe that's you, Slick Nick. Thank you very much, Slick Nick. Like always, you're a great contributor. And if it's a different Nick other than Slick Nick, shout out to you too. But I just imagine that's Slick Nick over there. By the way, you guys, Slick Nick, he found the work because he was a student at Stoneman Douglas High School when the supposed shooting happened. And if you ever talk to Slick Nick, and he's called in a few times, even being a student that day when the shooting happened, He couldn't confirm if anything really happened. And don't forget, they said the majority of the victims at Stoneman Douglas were in room 1214. Isn't that the day of SH? Isn't that the day the shooting happened in Newtown? 1214? Isn't that the day George Washington died in history? Chris says Mets win and Reds lose, and the Mets are the third wild card team. Mets can possibly end up plus 57 in point differential. Also, watch out if the Cubs become plus 147 in point differential. We know what that means too. So I'm watching both those things tomorrow. All right, guys. We will leave it there for now. Thank you to the super chatters. And yeah, if you got here late, little homework to do. Watch the Dead Man on Campus trailer. Maybe get your hands on the film. Maybe there's some gems in there. And again, you can come to my website too. And I got the trailer right here. And I got the what that was played on the VHS before Dead Man on Campus begins. And it turned out there was even more there than I realized. I miss the good old days of going to Blockbuster to rent a movie, man. Those were the good old days. You actually had to get outside. You might run into some friends. Some cutie pies. Anyway, I got to hop off, you guys. Have a good rest of your evening. And for everyone waiting on the NFL notes, I'll get them out here shortly. Till next time.